Dark Waters has a higher rating on IMDb than I expected, but it's not a bad film. This was released in 2019, directed by Todd Haynes, screenplay by Correa, and it's based on the New York Times Magazine article by Nathaniel. This is based on a true story, which makes it quite disturbing. And it stars, among others, Mark Ruffalo and Hathaway and Tim Robbins. And the description from IMDb is as follows. A corporate defense attorney takes on an environmental lawsuit against a chemical company that exposes a lengthy history of pollution. That sounded intense. The reason I wanted to watch this is because I love courtroom dramas. It was on a list of the best courtroom dramas. Unfortunately, it's not actually a courtroom drama. And I promise that's the last time I'll say that phrase. But it is still quite intense, and we do have, of course, our defense attorney. And basically they have to try and work out what this company has been doing, and this company is defending themselves, saying, no, we haven't been polluting things. Of course, this is not our fault. And as an audience, well, I certainly believed from the very beginning that they were guilty. I didn't look into the background for this. I assumed that because it was such a high-profile case and it's been turned into a film, that there was some kind of corruption there. But I was not certain. I hadn't looked into it. I definitely advise that you don't do any reading around it until after the film, because there are some things that happen that are quite shocking. What's particularly interesting about this film, and one of the things that I thought worked really well, was that the pacing and the progression. It starts off with, I don't want to give too much away, but it kind of focuses around a farmer and the fact that his cow has this tumour, and then his animals get sick. And then we realise that, that it could be because of this company, DuPont. And then it turns out that it's not just animals that are getting sick. It could be detrimental to human health and babies. And it reveals more and more about the ways in which this manifests and what conditions it can cause. And to think that a chemical company could potentially be shortening the lives of people is a terrifying and real threat. And then you remember that it's based on truth, and that's just disturbing. We don't expect the water we drink, the air we breathe, any of that to be reducing our life. So I think the development of the narrative is really good. I don't know exactly how much of it's based on truth. I would assume it's pretty accurate for the most part, but I'm not able to actually testify and say that that is definitely the case. It's well acted. I kind of liked a lot of the characters. I was able to engage with a lot of them. I felt they were very well developed, well-rounded individuals. Some characters had attitudes that I didn't like. Obviously, whenever people were trying to deny this, I wanted to punch them, but such is the nature of a lawsuit. I really liked the contrast between the farmer and the high-profile, large DuPont corporation. Obviously, that's not a fabrication of the narrative, that's based on truth, but it works really well on screen, and that's one of the reasons why the film worked. So why did I think the rating was too high? I just didn't think it was anything spectacular. It has 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a very respectable rating for IMDb. And it has a Metascore of 73, which is just as fantastic, if not more fantastic. But I thought it would be maybe a 6.5. There were times when it failed to engage me. My attention did wander a couple of times. It was a little scattered. Sometimes, while I liked the pacing of it, I felt like occasionally there was a bit too much chopping and changing between focus points and between which characters we were following. But none of that was enough to make me dislike the film. It was just that it didn't feel like a spectacular film that everybody has to watch. However, if you like films that base around this kind of thing, definitely give it a watch. I thoroughly recommend it. It's not the best film I've ever seen. I'm surprised, though, that I hadn't heard of it until I was looking for these courtroom films, and if you can recommend any of those, please do. I'd love to get some more on my watch list. Dark Waters is not perfect, but it's still pretty great.